Morning, Bear Nation. I am Bear of BearIndependent.com. Let's talk about these most recent shootings. First, let me acknowledge that Pastor Fox and the Revolting Man and several other channels that I follow, John at Warrior Poet Society, have all done videos on this subject. I have not watched them yet. Second, there's been tons of media coverage. I have not watched it. So what you're going to get is the pure, unadulterated thoughts of Bear on the subject. So let's do it. First, are they gonna try and take your guns? Yes. They are already trying. They have been trying for a long time. The NRA is useless. Yeah, Bear, but you wore that NRA hat all the time back in the day. Yes. Because a dear friend of mine gave it to me. And I'll wear it again tomorrow if I feel like it. Gun Owners of America isn't big enough to really do anything about the issue, says me. And then you have all the Ruby Ridge and Waco wannabes that exacerbate the problem. They don't make it better. And without getting into the politics of either of those instances, what I am saying here is you have the common American citizen who's just trying to do what they think is right, standing up against the federal government as a single entity, and that allows the BATFE, FBI, whoever, which, by the way, at least for a good long while, the FBI's HRT, hostage rescue team, wasn't near as good as everybody thought they were. That was farmed out to different military units. And then the FBI would just take pictures of their guys standing in front of the bodies afterwards so that the quiet professionals could maintain their OPSEC. Point being, as a standalone, the average American citizen has zero chance of standing up against the blunt force of the United States government. So yes, they're gonna try and take your guns. At the very least, they're gonna make it really, really, really difficult, if not impossible, for you to get more guns and get more ammunition. So you don't have all the guns that you've ever wanted? Well, let's not say wanted, need. If you don't have all the firearms you need, get them. If you don't have all the ammo you need, get it. There will be no firearms confiscation where I live. The sheriff's department is not going door to door in my county. If they do, it's going to be to say, hey, just wanted to let you know we're here to tell you that we are full supporters of your Second Amendment rights, and if we have any issues, we're going to come see you for help. Not the other way around, because that's how things get done when your population density gets low enough. That's something that we have harped on at this channel for a year and a half, coming up on 2 years. There are no mass shootings in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't happen. Has not happened yet, praise the Father. And if it does happen, people will start shooting back. I am in Texas currently. There are 3 firearms with me. A compact 9, full-size 45, and an AR-15 with an accidental 17 mags with me. Odds are pretty good that if there's a firefight, I can at least participate. States like Oklahoma are moving towards constitutional carry, which will be in effect 1 November 2019, whereas other states are making it harder and harder every day to purchase and possess weapons. Areas of high population density make the best targets for people, sociopaths and psychopaths, okay? People who want to harm other people. BFE County, nowhere, Oklahoma, not so much. Not so much. And because there's nobody there, the sheriffs and the local PD and the state troopers and everybody else are not trying to exert their authority over people. They're trying to build relationships with and network with people because their neighbor might be their backup when they need them. Much different mindset. So if you still live in Dayton, Ohio, or El Paso, Texas, or LA, or New York, or Tampa, Florida, or anywhere else, why? Well, this is where the work is. Bull. It's where your excuses are. Bear, you just don't understand. Yeah, I do. I do. I moved my wife and my 3 children and my wife's elderly grandmother while working 70, 80 hours a week, 200 miles away from where we moved. I did that for a year. If you want something hard enough, you'll find a way to do it. So there's a bunch of people who think they want to move, but they haven't. Because they're not convicted to move. Move. Come out of her, my people, lest you partake of her sins and plagues. Plagues, like people killing other people. That doesn't mean that the country doesn't have its issues, but what it doesn't have is a bunch of people with, magazines, 30-round magazines, which I have no problem with, FYI. Killing as many people as they can. There are large swaths of this country where if you try and kill somebody, they'll kill you back. And I don't mean the judicial system or law enforcement. I mean the citizenry. And so there's a really big push right now on the macro. What we need as a nation is to sit down and shut up. We need liberty as a nation. We need liberty as a nation because a nation is comprised of individuals, and you as an individual need the liberty to get off of your ass, flush all your excuses down the toilet, and GTFO, get out. Your wife and children, whom you are responsible for at the end of an age, could be the next shooting victim. You might be the next shooting victim, and you leave them here to do life without you because I just had to make that $74K a year to pay all the bills for all the things that we don't use to impress all the people that we can't stand anyway. Well, my family's here. Good, they can leave too. Are you answerable for, Aunt Matilda to your creator? Or for your wife and children to your Creator. Y'all confuse easy with good a lot. And I'm saying this in love because somebody needs to say this. Stop it. Easy is not good, and good is not easy. Now, it's a tragedy what happened in El Paso and in Dayton. It's a tragedy everywhere these things happen. One of the tragedies for me is that there wasn't somebody standing there that had a Glock 19 on their hip and a training to use it to put that bad MFer down right now and secure the place until law enforcement shows up. You should be worried about them trying to take your guns. You should be worried about the soft tyranny of the federal government. You should be worried about the tyranny of certain states and their state governments, to say nothing of the local jurisdictions in a lot of these states. But if you're worried about those things, actually do something about it. And maybe that do something isn't buying AR number 13. It's putting all of your shit in boxes and putting all those boxes on a U-Haul and pointing that thing whatever direction you need to find your little slice of heaven in the middle of the country where the sheriffs are not going to come take your firearms. Well, my family's lived here 100 years. People move. The story of mankind is, in part, a story of people moving all across the face of the globe from less ideal situations to more ideal situations. Period. The end. So if you are unwilling to do something about it on the micro on your end, you deserve the circumstances of your life that you find yourself in. And frankly, I'm tired of listening to all of it from the internet about why you can't. You're right. You can't. If you believe that you can't, you're absolutely right. Stay in Boston and wonder why the local sheriff's department went door to door and confiscated all of our scary black guns. I can tell you why. Because, what's that old saying? Those who trade security for freedom, deserve neither and won't get both. I'm paraphrasing. I haven't even had coffee yet this morning. These are my waking thoughts. Yeah, you know the quote that I'm talking about. Just give and a take. And if you give your money in taxes to the city of Boston, they will take your firearms. I'm over it. I'm over the macro, big picture country bullcrap in this country. I'm over the micro excuses of people. You're not going to legislate away people killing people. And you're not going to take my firearms. And you're not going to convince me that you can't do it, because you can. If you're a one-armed Brazilian gymnast / professional glass blower who likes to parasail in their spare time, pretty unique. There's still somebody like you who's done the thing that you're not doing and has proven the point that if they can do it, you can do it. I want to be nice and try and lift you up, tell you you can do it. But I don't have that in me right now. So I'm just gonna tell you, you can do it. Quit lying to yourself and telling you can't. And also, the how is not my business and it's not your business, so quit asking me how. How do I do it, Bear? Throw all your shit in boxes, put that shit on a U-Haul, and point it towards the middle of the country. Beyond that, the Father's in the business of how. You show up. And if you've been waiting on a word from the Father about where should I go, Father? Why won't you speak to me about the 800 acres of land that I feel like I deserve? If you're not willing to seek his face and hear his voice in the small things in your life, in my experience, he will not show up for the big things in life. So if your question is, how come I don't have a huge swath of land to develop my own community on? But he's saying to you, how come you don't go talk to Jim on Tuesdays every time I tell you and that there's an opportunity at 11 a.m. in your office by the water cooler to minister to Jim? Don't expect the Father to talk to you about 300 acres of land or whatever. If you haven't gotten on your knees and sought his face, if you haven't read his word, if you haven't screamed at the sky and asked him, what can I do for you today, Father? If you don't cry out regularly to him and give the authority of your life to him, how could you possibly question why you don't feel the authority of him in your life? It doesn't work that way. It's not your way. It's Yahweh. There will be no gun confiscations where I am. I want to be nice, and I also want to scream at you. But instead, I'm just going to tell you that your excuses, like everybody else's, including mine, are just a bunch of bullshit. Get out.